Chapter 22, Fathers and Sons. Sticks stayed quiet the rest of the way to the hardware store. The salesman fussed over us the second we walked in. "You're back. Good timing. Mr. Davis is here." He pointed toward the aisle 6. Standing there was a lean and leathery man holding a clipboard in his work-worn hands. He sported a light beard and a mesh cap with the hardware store name on the front. He was not large, but he was built like a man who lifted and carried things for a living. Stick's sour mood disappeared. He turned on all the charm. "Mr. Davis, good afternoon. You got a minute to talk to us about these sweet wheels you got on display up front?" "Those are the boys I was telling you about," the salesman voice followed us. We shook hands with Mr. Davis. The owner was happy to chat us up about the grasshopper. "It belonged to your son?" Sticks said, patting the moped seat. "Yup," Mr. Davis said. "Bought it for him for high school graduation." "Wow. I wonder what it would be like to have such a cool dad. He must have loved it." Mr. Davis made a soft, sad sound. "Wasn't ever good enough for him. He wanted a Harley." The man shook his head. "Well, now he's got one." Sticks nodded. "Lucky for us, I suppose. We'd sure like to take this one off your hands. I can assure you we'll enjoy it and appreciate it." "Not like my ungrateful son, you mean?" Mr. Davis barked a laugh. "Never been sure what to do with that boy." Sticks commiserated. "Fathers and sons, right? What are you going to do?" I swear he looked at me for a second when he said that. To Mr. Davis, he said, "I got a good joke for you." "Bring it." "Why is the first story in the Bible about Adam and Eve and the second story about Cain and Abel?" "Why?" "'Cause Adam and his sons still won't talk about their problems." Mr. Davis hooted. Sticks stuck out his palm and they slapped. We all grinned at each other. "You want that bike? Make me an offer," Mr. Davis said. "This is a blessing in disguise," Sticks said. "We're low on cash, but we can offer you a trade." "Trade for what?" Mr. Davis's expression faded from friendly to skeptical. "The perfect thing," Sticks assured him. "The thing you want most." The old guy snorted. "And what's that?" Sticks' smile dazzled us. It was almost like a starburst flashed from the corner of his teeth, like the cartoon dad on the candy cigarette box. "You can't give me what I want most," Mr. Davis said, staring at the grasshopper. "And you're too young to see that." Sticks stayed confident. "Hold the moped for us. We'll come back within the week, make you an offer you can't refuse." "How do you know a lawnmower is what Mr. Davis wants most?" Bobby Jean asked the second we hit the sidewalk carrying the tube of rust remover. "The lawnmower's not going to work," Sticks said. His cloak of charm slipped off and he fell quiet again. "What?" I said when he didn't continue. "But that's all we have." "We need another trade," Sticks said. "The lawnmower for something." "What does Mr. Davis want most?" I asked. Sticks glanced sideways at me. It was a few moments before he answered. "We'll work something out." We were feeling upset, so we splurged on a trip to the diner. We ordered a whole mess of chicken strips and 3 large milkshakes. Vanilla for me, strawberry for BG, and coffee with caramel for Sticks. I regretted my order as soon as it Sticks's. I couldn't have asked for anything plainer. The waitress saw Sticks slip his candy cigarette from his pocket. "No smoking," she said. Sticks snorted. "It's fake." He twirled the candy cigarette over his placemat. "It's policy," she said, like she didn't get it. "Sure thing, Janine." Sticks studied the name badge on her chest for a while. "Pretty clearly fake, but it passes." The waitress crossed her arms over her stomach. Her voice got tight. "Anything else I can get you?" Sticks teased the candy cigarette between his lips. "We're good," he said. She spun away in a huff. She was being weird, and so was Sticks. I didn't see what the big deal was. The candy cigarette was like an extension of Sticks' fingers. I barely noticed anymore. Janine returned a few minutes later with our order. She slammed the plates down on the table in front of us and marched off. "Hey!" Sticks called after her. She looked over her shoulder. "Sorry," he said. Honestly, sorry." He held up the candy cigarette and made a show of dropping it back in his pocket. She nodded and laughed. We dug in. Chicken strips, fries, and a milkshake is about the best meal in the world. "Not bad," Sticks commented as he sipped the shake. "About as good as you find in Indy." He shook his head. "Best fries in the city were around the corner from my house." "You lived in Indy?" Bobby Jean said. "Not just visited?" "Yeah," Sticks shrugged. We lived in a lot of places. You and Pixie? Sticks said nothing. How come you moved so much? Where'd you live before Sutton? How come you're in a foster home anyway? Bobby Jean poured questions into the silence like a hose stuck on full blast. Stick shook his head. You don't want to know about that stuff, he said finally. But I nudged Bobby Jean to shut up. Foster home? Maybe so, but his prying was going to get us in trouble in a minute. Sticks had a tea kettle expression on his face, like steam was filling up his head. He sucked hard on his straw, gnawed a trio of fries. Then he tore a chicken strip in half with a grunt like the Hulk. Bobby Jean nudged me back. He got annoyed with me when I did that because it usually meant I could see or understand something he couldn't. Sticks wasn't being his usual cheerful self. It gave me a tight feeling in my stomach that had nothing to do with being hungry or full. We like you, I told Sticks. That's why he wants to know. He didn't mean anything by it. You guys are all right, too, Sticks answered. He snagged a fry and swiped it through ketchup. But if anyone asks, I never said that. I copied his exact movement. I didn't hear anything. Chapter 23, Porches and Promises. When Sticks' charm set on low, we were no longer fearless adventurers. We became 3 boys, too far from home. It was a relief to arrive back in our own woods. We fetched the lunchbox and sat under the trees with it. Sticks was still in a bit of a mood. It fell to me to be the impossibly charming one, so I leaned in to practice my Sticks craft. This one time, I told him, we brought a couple of frogs to church. We had them in our shirt pockets. In the middle of the sermon, one of them got the Holy Ghost and started leaping around and croaking all over the altar. Just one of them? Sticks said. Yeah, it was my frog that went nuts, I said. The Reverend called it the Lord God in action through nature. Wake, he yelled out to the whole congregation. Bobby Jean laughed. The other one stayed quiet in my pocket the whole time, real prayerful. No way, Sticks said. Yes way, Bobby Jean confirmed. You're not the only one with wild stories. Tell me another. I thought about it. This one time we took a jar of lightning bugs into the grocery store. Sticks puffed on his candy cigarette and scrubbed at the lunchbox like it was going to save his life. It was gentle and tedious work. His long fingers danced with the rag against the metal. He massaged each hinge lovingly as I regaled him with our best stories I could think of from our entire lives up to now. Finally, Sticks raised his head. Check it out. The lunchbox was clean. It wasn't as perfect as a new one, but it had character. Kind of like the beat-up old furniture Mom liked that we weren't supposed to call old. Is it antique? Bobby Jean said, reading my mind. It had a faded blue and red picture on it. A cartoon man flying with his fist forward and a cape streaming behind. The telltale S on his chest. It's a bird. It's a plane, Bobby Jean said. It's Superman, we chorused. Is it valuable? I ran my finger over the image. The lunchbox looked like it might have been awesome when it was new. It's worth enough, Sticks said. Some people are into this kind of thing. Sticks stayed for dinner. Then we hung out on the back porch as the sun went down. Lightning bugs flicked across the yard, teasing each other with their taillights. We lounged in the chases, shooting the breeze, and then Sticks got kind of quiet again. Listen, he said. We need to make moves on the motor, right? Is this the best time to talk about it? I pointed up to the open window screens. Dad was watching TV pretty loud, but you never knew how sound might carry. We can talk tomorrow, Sticks agreed. I just don't think we should put it off anymore. Had we been putting it off? We'd only just gotten the lunchbox ready. But Sticks hadn't seemed to be in a big hurry until today. Pond trip tomorrow, I suggested. Sure thing, Sticks said. If it's hot like today, that'll feel good. Bobby Jean and I glanced at each other. Awkward. How to tell Sticks we weren't allowed to swim. Mom poked her head out the door, staring us. Wrap it up, boys. Aw, we chorused. It wasn't even totally dark yet. The cruel reality of summer was that bedtime often preceded actual dark. Good night, Sticks, Mom said in a tone as clear and final as the end of school day bell. She balanced Susie with one of her arms and waved the other hand over the dessert dishes surrounding us. We were meant to clean up and follow her, and Sticks was meant to go home. But Sticks, not having a mom of his own and all, was never one to pick up on these things. He flopped back onto the chaise and wiggled his butt into the cushion, getting comfy. He crossed his arms behind his head. The night is young, Mrs. Franklin, he said. And so are you, Mom answered. It's near bedtime. We have to go in, I whispered to Sticks. That's her punishment voice. He glanced at me with clear disdain for my rule following. That's how you want to roll, he said. It wasn't how I wanted to roll. Of course it wasn't, but Sticks didn't understand the pressure we were under. Say good night, Mom ordered. Good night, Sticks, we said. Mom herded us inside. There was no use complaining. She put Susie in her high chair, then handed us each a cup of water in the kitchen. We were always required to hydrate after being outside, especially in the summer. She leaned her hips against the counter, crossed her arms, and stared at us. We stood on the tile in our bare feet, slugging down the cool, smooth water. They were big cups. Mom was on to something with the water thing. No matter how squirrely we felt when we burst in the door, by the time we chugged it all down, we were looking pretty docile. Over the rims of our cups, we watched her watching us. Uh-oh. Okay, guys, we need to have a little talk. Her tightly crossed arms and eagle-eyed stare said plenty. We lowered our cups and waited. In the living room came the low, familiar sound of the TV news. I tried to take comfort in that. The impending talk was not serious enough for Dad to be involved, or else so serious that it was better for Dad not to know. I gulped. You've been spending a lot of time hanging out with Sticks lately, haven't you? Not that much, really, I said at the same time Bobby Jean said. Oh yeah, he's great. We glanced at each other. Only sometimes, I rambled on. In the afternoons, a little bit. We have our chores with Corey in the morning and all. We've been real faithful about that. Sticks is a troubled boy, Mom said. How come you don't like him? Bobby Jean said. I didn't say I don't like him. He's very charming. This is what Mom likes to say about people she doesn't really like. It sounds like he's had a hard life is all. Sometimes that makes people a little rough around the edges. Sticks was rough around the edges for sure. He did what he felt like. He saw everything and calculated all the angles. What would Sticks say right now to Mom? We're trying to be good neighbors, I said. You wouldn't want us to turn our backs on someone just because he's had a hard time, would you? Mom's lips tightened. She didn't want to have to disagree with that. He doesn't have a family, I explained. He's all alone and he's new here. We can help him, be a good influence and stuff. Surely that wasn't even stretching the truth too far. Sticks was learning all kinds of stuff from us, just like we were learning all kinds of stuff from him. Mom uncrossed her arms. I need you to know I have some concerns. That's all. Bobby Jean sighed, his feet twitching toward the hallway. Can we go? Okay, Mom said. Caleb, she added as Bobby Jean went tearing off to her room. I lingered so she could say whatever she had to say that my brother wasn't likely to understand. You know what I mean, right, sweetie, about Sticks? I shrugged. I guess so, even though no, I really didn't. If you play with him, I need you to be careful. We're always careful. Mom bent and kissed my face. It's still my job to remind you. Yeah. I wiped away the spot as if she slobbered on me like Susie would. Sticks wouldn't have let Mom push us around like that. I was griping so loudly, Bobby Jean started patting the air to quiet me down. When it's Mom, it doesn't count as pushing us around, he said. Still. We had Lego pieces out strewn around the room. We were pecking through the piles, looking for all the green and black ones. We were going to build a scale model of the moped. Bobby Jean scooped up a handful of pieces and made a Lego waterfall through his fingers. Sticks is good for dealing with people like Corey, but he really doesn't get what we're up against here. How great would it be to have no parents, I fantasized as we got into bed, to do whatever the heck we wanted, anytime. Yeah, Bobby Jean agreed, except then one of us would have to get a job or something. He was harsh in my vibe with his practicality. Forget that part. I'm talking midnight Rice Krispies candy, ice cream for breakfast, TV all night until the sun comes up. Now he was getting the spirit. 24-hour video game marathon, pizza for every meal, no news, only our shows, no vegetables. We kept on making the list until we couldn't keep our eyes open. No parents would be the coolest, Bobby Jean mumbled. He slid into a half snore. Yeah, I drifted away too. One last thought slipped through my mind. Sticks' face on the sidewalk corner. Hey, Sticks, you ever ride in a limo? Once.